like for me, I've been able to do a lot of things that I haven't been able to do like when I've had lots of training on, so kind of more normal things that maybe normal people kind of get to do. Just like rearrange my room, just like small things, but it's been nice just to kind of have a little break from it, I guess. But it's also made me realize like how much I love it, obviously, because I've really missed the pool. So, and it's weird not being able to see everyone. Obviously we can see each other online, but not being able to like see all my friends and stuff. But at the same time, it's been like it's allowed us to like get in contact with other countries a lot more. So obviously we've been doing some Zoom calls with other countries like USA, which has been really interesting because I don't think we would have that kind of opportunity if it weren't for this. So I think that's been really good, and it's nice to do something different, I guess.
And for me, obviously not training, but just have, although I can't see obviously extended family, my husband is at home a lot more, so that's really nice. So just being able to spend some proper family quality time has been really nice in the garden and stuff, enjoying the weather. Luckily the weather's been nice, so
yeah, I think that a lot of people as well, it will be more online, so we're a lot more connected with like other countries. Like some of our coaches obviously live in Italy, so we do have to travel out to Italy quite a lot. But I think that this definitely has like opened up an opportunity for us to be able to use Zoom and like call them instead of having to actually go and see them. So that's been really good, and I hopefully will carry on doing that. So yeah, that should be good.
yeah, it kind of looks like you're really able to, it's kind of opening up a new way of accessing people's expertise, like all the stuff, you know, from people that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to work with, which is really cool because of like just cost of like even just flights and stuff, getting them over and their time. People's time is just so much more available, and you'll be able, it's really cool that you're able to work with more people.
Yeah, I think also for like school as well, a lot more is going to be online. So obviously if people are trying to do like go to university and maybe they're training, it gives them that opportunity to practice like online learning as well. So I think that's good for the future. I mean, I think for me, obviously, there's not been a lot of time for kind of outside life. So I feel like my main achievements are really through Synchro. But I'd say for me, like the most like enjoyable thing, or the thing I have the best memory of, is when I went to Budapest for World Championships the first time in 2017. And it was like my first World Championships, and we were staying in the hotel with like all the divers and the swimmers. So I think for me it was just crazy to see everyone, like all my idols and stuff, and all the countries that were there, because it was my first World Championship, so I hadn't seen like all the countries in one like place. So that was really good. And also it was an outdoor pool, and it was really hot, and it was a really nice like memory, I guess. And we placed really well. I think I wasn't really expecting to go into it and come out where we like did. So I think for me it just kind of exceeded my expectations a lot. So that's a really good memory of mine.
For me, well, outside of Synchro now, I guess having my child quite successful, I hope. And then also being able to coach is really really rewarding, like giving back to the sport and helping, like, at club level you can really kind of, you know, make a difference to the girls that hopefully, you know, will be eventually in the top squad, and even to the girls that aren't going to make it, being able to, you know, that you learn so many skills through sport and through Synchro that are so beneficial to you know, to everyone in their life. So kind of giving them those skills that can help them in lots of different ways, other than just being in hope, you know, if they do very well and get to GB. And then in Synchro, I don't know, there's loads.
Probably a lot.
I mean, obviously competing at the Olympics, it's obviously always very memorable, but it's often those little times in training with your teammates where you know, you really feel like together, or, you know, something you're all absolutely exhausted but something's really hilarious. It's kind of those everyday things that keep you going.
Yeah, I feel like I have kind of the same. Obviously, when you get tired, and me and Kate have this thing, we call it delirium day, because there's always one day in the week where we're really delirious and we just find everything really funny. So that's kind of something that stands out for me as well, I guess.
It's so bad in synchro because like when you laugh and then like you're like sort of you're obviously not drowning, but if you're underwater and like you blow out all your air because you're laughing.
And you just think, yeah, that happens to me and Kate quite a lot. Get told off quite a lot. Obviously, we do sometimes have days where we're not obviously that excited to see each other. But I think that for me and Kate, because we've known each other for so long and we've grown up together, kind of we kind of know each other so well that it's more like sisters. So when we know one of us is annoyed at each other, we know like when to back off, kind of. But there obviously, like with the coach and stuff, there is always times where it is hard, but I feel like there are still days where like obviously we have fun, like when we're a bit delirious and stuff, so that definitely keeps me motivated, like every day. Yeah, I think this time also has been really good just to have that little break from it, and have those different ways of training, which has been really good for all of us, I think.
Yeah, it can be quite an intense sort of atmosphere when it's just every day. And obviously those things that, you know, when you retire, when you leave synchro, those people it doesn't, you know, you're like you, like you said, you're like sisters, you're like you end up being like family. So even if you don't see them for like years, because obviously you've all got different lives, it's never like, it's like you've never missed a day. You're just so close, which is really nice. But obviously, like you said, at times it's very high, like it's high stressful, you know, you're trying to reach for the best collectively, and obviously people don't always get on, we're all human, but it's learning about, like it said, you learn what people need and how to solve problems. It's all about communication really, and relationships, and it's really important. And yeah, getting over those conflicts only kind of tend to make you stronger.
I'd say for me, obviously synchro's very different to a lot of other sports, so I think that it's just fun because every day is different, so you're not always doing the same thing, like speed swimming where you're just swimming up and down, or I don't know, like running, or I don't know, but yeah, you're always doing something different. There's so many different aspects to it, and you have to incorporate like gymnastics, ballet, and speed swimming, and all these different kind of practices, so it makes it really fun and enjoyable. And also I think obviously the people, it's very social, it's like quite a nice community, I'd say, like especially at the club that I was kind of brought up in, we had a really close team, and we kind of all stayed in that team since I was really young until kind of I left and went more to GB training, so that's really nice.
Yeah, it's that variation, I think, that really makes it special. And also having that, it's so like challenge, you know, the challenge is part of like the fun as well. Like it's so challenging trying to master all those different things. What was the question? What was the best things about synchro?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the creativity is obviously it's so physical, but then also you have that, because it's like that gymnastics dance aspect, you're able to, you know, you're able to express yourself and be creative, and just it's always changing, like you know, people are always trying to do harder things, more difficult things, more interesting things, so it's never it's never the same day to day. And also just what, you know, what other countries do internationally, you're always trying to push the boundaries and create something, you know, a more unique routine every time.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, for me now, I don't know if it was the same for you, but we have quite a lot of different tools. I think especially as we have Paula, who's very technical, so she's brought a lot of equipment that we probably hadn't thought of before, like to use. She's brought that in, so it's been really useful for us. Kind of things like ranging from simple things like a plastic bottle, just like, you know, a Coke bottle or something, holding it like between your elbow when you're doing sculling, like that kind of thing, all the way to like breathing tools. So we've gone on a training camp where we've focused mainly on breathing, and we've got these things, they're called Spiro Tiger, and it's basically like, it's like breathing into a bag, and you can make it the resistance harder, so it kind of builds up your breathing muscles, to help your like lung capacity and stuff, which obviously is really good for synchro. But I don't know if you had kind of anything like that before.
So do you use it when you're training?
We haven't got to that like yet. We're kind of still learning how to use them. So the guy who coaches us with them, he's very like specific. You need to be able to use it properly first. So we do like sets kind of like breathing to a metronome. So you breathe in, breathe out when like the metronome goes, and he like alters the time and how long we do it for and stuff like that, just kind of building it up before we start using it like in training.
Oh, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, it is cool. It's definitely like different. We haven't done anything like that before, so
That's cool. Can't think. I remember we used to, I don't even know what it was now, but we had to do, it was like this, it wasn't a bag, it was like a thing that this was like when I literally just got into GB. We had to like breathe into this thing a certain amount of times, and it was meant to help our lung capacity, but we never really sort of went. I remember doing it, but I don't really know what ended up with it. I had an opera singer come in before, and we did, like you say, like we did like laps, and they were really helping us, like talking about really using like all right from the bottom, from like your stomach, like you're using, you know, using your whole diaphragm to get the most oxygen in. Obviously, it's really hard when you're actually doing the routine, because you have to maintain that presentation side, so like you have to sort of hide that you're doing that massive gasp of air. I guess the more you train it, the better. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, because he's a fencing coach, the guy we work with for the breathing, he's fencing coach of the Italian team, and he also works with the Synchro club that we go to when we go to Italy. And yeah, I think he wrote his dissertation on apnea, so breath holding. So he's got a very wide range of knowledge about all of the breathing stuff. So we also do exercises like that, where you breathe in from your diaphragm and like your stomach, and just like maximizing the breath.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, it's obviously really hard when you're actually in training and you've got to go under and you're still trying to breathe and it's trying to go under quickly. But yeah, I think that's definitely helped though. We did a training camp at the beginning of the season where we really focused on like just breathing, which that is completely new to us, because we were like, oh, we're not actually doing any training. We were literally just doing these exercises, holding our breath like in the water like this. Like, and we were like, oh, this is really easy. But actually it was actually really hard trying to hold your breath and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important, isn't it, really? Because that's what slows you down, because you get what's it called?
Like lactic build-up from like yeah.
So yeah, if you can keep that off for as long as possible. Actually, I remember when we went to train in Russia, with the Russian coach Tatiana. I remember her being like, no, you're not. You need to take a deep. You need to, like, before you go under. Even, you know, if we were just doing like sets like 50 skull holds and stuff, she'd be like, you need to take a bigger breath. You're not breathing enough. You need to, like, and also about like, even just having that mental image of like you're filling up your lungs, it's giving you more, it's like buoyancy, even having that sort of mental image is like helpful for you to be higher. But yes, interesting.
Yeah, it is weird how we don't really like think about it. I guess in our country, well, I haven't really, before I went to Italy, I didn't really think about it that much. Like obviously it's such a big aspect of synchro, and we've never really practiced doing breath holding, I wouldn't say, like when I've been growing up and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, apart from doing like loads of laps underwater.
Yeah, obviously.
more focused on not breathing instead of
Yeah.
instead of like maximizing when you are breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have weight costumes. So the costumes just full of weights, obviously. So it's not distributed just like obviously when you have like ankle weights and you put them around your waist or just on your ankles. It's like all over the body, which we haven't, like when I've been training, I've never used that before until a couple years ago. So that was like new to me as well. Yeah.
That's cool. Because we used to train in like just full like tight clothes, so the weight of the water. And then I remember actually Biz talking about that she wanted to get a costume that was like just lined with like weights, but we never got around to it, I don't think.
Yeah, I think
It's much better than having it like you're less likely to get injuries basically, aren't you? Because it's distributed better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd say that when I was like more coming into GB, we were wearing clothes quite a lot in the pool, and then as like the years have gone on, we've not really used clothes as much and more kind of weight costumes and stuff. So yeah, I think that's been really good. We also have we're partnered with BU. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like sea change company things. They make costumes out of recycled plastic.
Wow.
So that's really cool, and they've made us quite a lot of costumes, and they made our duet costumes for French Open, our free duet costumes, and it's all made out of like recycled plastic, which is really cool. And we got to design them and everything, so that was new for us. And he's made us quite a lot of well, he hasn't finished them yet, but weighted costumes that you can actually change the weight, so you can like take in and out all the weights, which is also new because our old weight costumes are just like a fixed weight. So it would be cool to try out these new ones.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I remember doing a weight like what's the word, like physical workout set for the routines, and like we had so many on literally just underwater for the whole, like literally our like toe was out and we were literally just underwater for the whole thing. It was really hard. Yeah, that was ankle weights and wrist weights.
You must have used them when we were like in team and stuff, and probably before, but the like belts with bands.
Oh
yeah, just like stuff like that. I'm trying to think what other equipment.
There's loads of like little things that, like you said about the bottles in your arm, or like a pull buoy on your head for like your line and stuff. There's all those like little kind of techniques that can help you adjust your I can't imagine how that felt really, because your life is sort of so planned out. You have all the competitions leading up to it that prepare you, and then you're making changes to the routine. You know how the whole year is going to go, and then that's suddenly just like gone. But yeah, I guess like everything, it's looking at what opportunity it brings for you really, which I'm sure you know is like you've got an extra 10 months. You're going to have a better routine. You're going to be a better athlete than you were this year because you've got just more time. Yeah, crazy. And I guess, you know, like this, obviously this has brought other things, like we were saying before, being able to access different things which are also going to improve your training, which is really exciting. Yeah, I can't really think. I obviously didn't go through anything like that. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's definitely very strange because obviously it's something that no one's planned for. Like no one would have thought that it was going to be postponed. So yeah, it is weird because obviously we planned everything around it. So like we knew all the training when we were going to peak in the training, and we were kind of building up towards that, and also mentally having that like kind of strength to think, okay, I've got this much time, I need to push until then, like keep like kind of trying to motivate yourself every day. up until that point, kind of, we were both counting down the weeks, counting down the days, like saying, okay, it's 6 months until qualifiers, like it's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then for that to be kind of like, oh, okay, no, another 10 months is hard. But yeah, like you said, it's given us so much, like, we're going to be better athletes, obviously, more training and stuff. So hopefully we can just push through. For a bit
I mean, it's hard as well because it's not even like, because you can't train properly at the moment, as in like water training at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's not even like you can still carry on as normal. It's just completely different, isn't it?
So strange. It's such a weird time. Like, who would have thought something like this would happen? Like, yeah, definitely very weird. But also I feel like I've been able to have time kind of to myself, and also to think about kind of what I want, and like how to keep motivated, and more like mental side of it, because sometimes you don't have that break in the day where you can really like have time to yourself and like think about those kind of things. So I think that it's actually been really helpful to have this. I would just say, like, to any club athletes, that obviously this time has been really useful for them to focus on like their weaknesses that they might have on land. So for me, like with splits and flexibility, I've really been able to like nail that, and well, trying to nail that and get it really good before I go back. And obviously if they have any weaknesses that they can work on land, that this is the best time to be able to make those changes. And also I think for me, I definitely learned to be more like confident in myself when I'm like competing and stuff like that. Just really have like the confidence to get out there and like show everyone like who you are and stuff. Don't be shy, because you could miss out on opportunities. So yeah.